Hi, AfterBuzzers. You're watching the AfterBuzz TV After Show for the Vampire Diaries Season 7, Episode 19, Somebody That I Used to Know. Join us and special guest Leslie-Anne Huff as we break down the episode and give you our thoughts and predictions. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This song is from years ago, but it's still good, and it has so much to do with this episode tonight. I'm your host, Katie Campbell, and you can find me on Twitter at KatieEE Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. And I have amazing people in here tonight. First of all, I think you noticed Roxy to my left.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be back on the panel. Thanks for having me, guys. You can find me everywhere at Roxy striar.
And across the table, Jordana Morfin.
What's up, everyone? You can find me on Twitter at Jordana_Morfin.
And very special guest tonight, Leslie-Anne Huff.
Hello. Hey, everybody. You can find me on Twitter at Leslie-Anne Huff and on Instagram at Leslie-Anne Huff. I'm so excited to be here, you guys. This is so fun.
Yay. And on the Vampire Diaries. They can also find
you. And a little show you may have seen.
That you might be a fan of.
Maybe.
We're so excited to have you here and to talk all things Reina Cruz. Before we get started, you may have noticed that we're missing 2 people tonight. So the Tiana Hobson is where you can reach Tiana Hobson. Tweet to her, and then Sam Davidson at SamD43. They want to know your thoughts on this episode and, you know, send them your love. They wish they could be here. Also, if you are not already subscribed to us on YouTube, please do so. That is youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, and you can also find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Give us that 5-star thumbs up, leave a comment, let us know what you think, and we will talk to you guys. Use the hashtag ABTVTVD.
Very active chat already in the YouTube. I'm loving you guys tonight, and they are loving looking at what they're saying. Yay, Reina! Yay! It's very exciting.
That's amazing. I've gotten some tweets too. People are really excited.
Yay. I'm excited. The excitement is mutual.
Amazing. I love it. So let's get into what were your guys' initial thoughts on this particular episode?
I loved it so much. The whole Enzo Bonnie thing just best thing I have seen in a while. So absolutely loved it.
I'm with you. You know that I was 2 episodes behind, so I got to binge, which is the best experience. Like, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna watch all of this. This is amazing. And at the end of this, it just felt like, oh my god, I need next week to be here right now. Like, I thought it was an amazing episode. Really good job.
Yeah.
Killing it.
How do you feel, Leslie-Anne?
The benzo stuff, you guys, the hottest thing to happen in a long time. I mean, it's just an embarrassment of riches how good looking they are together. First of all,
my god,
the sparks are flying. The guitar stuff, the New Year's scene.
Oh my gosh,
him in that suit.
The New Year's scene. Whose dream is that not?
Everybody's.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see it coming.
Were you guys freaking out when they didn't kiss at the end of that?
Yes.
I was. Oh my god, I threw something. Close. I threw my pillow off of the bed. I was like, no!
Yeah. It was hot. The chemistry was there in between them the whole time.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm there to shoot the episode. I read the episode, but I didn't know what was coming. Like, how hot it was going to be. You know, they just did such a good job.
Yeah, they're amazing. So with that whole thing, 3 years ago, the Armory was coming after her, and she was packing up her stuff, leaving. Where was she going? She was leaving the college.
She was just packing everything up from her dorm.
And she was heading out somewhere?
Just leaving.
I think she was done.
Yeah, just when you're done with school.
Yeah, and Enzo, he took her and put a syringe in her and just to keep her safe, which I was scared with the Armory how many there were coming after her.
And we don't know at that time. It's like, all right, what exactly are his motives right now? Why isn't he telling her that he's going to, like, make her pass out? So I got really nervous, too, for a second there. But luckily, we all knew how it ended up.
Yeah, and I love that they became friends I mean, you know, they've been friends, kind of, but we also don't know what team Enzo's been on for a while. He's kind of jumping around. He's for his own team. He says it tonight. You know, so I think that it was good for them to bond and become better friends. It's somebody that she could trust, somebody, you know, he's trusting her, and they bonded in that little cabin, which, how did he keep that
Where did he even,
quiet?
I have no idea, but I think that's part of the charm of this character. It's like now you get to see where he lives. It's so like decorated so well, and you're just like, I love this man.
He's got skeletons in his closet for sure, but some of them are less like skeletons and more like beautiful homes. So you know, I never know exactly what he's going to bring to the table, which is why he's such an exciting character. I feel like it's always I can never predict where it's going with him. And this was one of those moments.
And so he says tonight he touches on his family. You know, speaking of his motives, Alex is his cousin. She runs the armory, right? Does she run the whole thing? Okay. So he's just curious to what they're doing. That kind of makes up for the fact that his parents are gone. Is that what he's trying to convey to Bonnie?
Is he just... Yeah, that's a little weird. I think he just, because he doesn't have parents, a family in general, does that what he feels like he has to stick around with Alex, or?
Well, he says it straight up to us. He says, "Listen, Bon, you had parents. Even you got to experience that. I had nothing. I was confused and lost, and I didn't have that experience. So I think it's completely reasonable that he would do anything he could to grasp on to what seems like family or love or anything. Think about his past. Think about even the stuff with Damon and everything he's gone through and been completely betrayed. And then think about Bonnie's past and everything she's gone through and how she's been completely betrayed. So it seemed like quite
a connection there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bonding over that a little bit. I love the scene when he comes in with 2 coffees. It was like he came home from the road, like they were a normal couple or something. He's on the road, he's working, they're sending him off a lot more than he thought to where was he going? Other cities and stuff?
Yeah.
And then, they ended up making out.
And yeah, he knows what coffee she likes, and Damon doesn't know, so Damon went down in the list.
I know.
The question I had was, so does Enzo, you know how when he was talking to Bonnie saying, and Bonnie was making fun of him, like, you know, double agent life, because he's obviously like still, so is he pretending to still work for Alex? Or what is that whole situation?
3 years ago, you mean?
Yeah.
3 years ago he was. But she found out somewhere along the road.
That he was with, like, helping out Bonnie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That Alex is a smart one.
Yeah.
She figured it out.
Yeah, but she's also a pain in my butt.
Yes.
Like, that means she's doing her job well, but I'm like, oh, I just want to shake you, girlfriend. Like, come on, get on our team or get lost. I don't have time for this right now.
And what is the deal with the pills? Okay, so it's Raina's blood.
Yes. So the whole idea behind the pills is that my blood, and which they test at the armory, and that's how Enzo kind of knows or hopes it'll work on Bonnie, and that's kind of how she's hiding from them. So her, her magic doesn't work on him, and therefore that kind of makes all of her magic not work, and therefore they kind of can't find her or track her.
Okay.
I thought this was a really cool twist, actually, that they put in, because I was wondering how they were going to make the stakes high enough. And what it was exactly they were going to do. I thought this was, we talk about how they find loopholes on this show a lot, but kind of good loopholes that you're like, oh my god, that makes perfect sense. And the pills are an example of that for me, because I really didn't know what they were going to do here. Although it is kind of sad, because Enzo's the one who's been giving them to her this whole time.
Thinking that he was doing the right thing.
Right, which is so classic Enzo. Like, trying to do the right thing, but really he's gonna end up killing his girlfriend.
But you know what, though? I love when he says to Damon, he says, I made a mistake and you made a choice to get in the coffin. I love...
That's so true.
Yeah, because what right does Damon have to come after Enzo at any point about Bonnie, period?
Yeah, and you haven't been here on the panel to talk about how you feel about
Well,
that.
she clearly has feelings about it.
I have so many feelings about it. It's very frustrating to me, because you've been gone for 3 years. Anytime like a friend walks out of your life for a little bit and then they come back and they look and they're like, oh, by the way, I don't like the way you're living your life. Well,
who are you?
Sucks to suck. Like, tough crap. That's what I've been doing. So Bonnie fell in love. She made a decision. And by the way, she didn't fall for the wrong guy. She actually fell for an awesome guy. So it would be one thing if Damon came back and he saw that she was with somebody who's treating her like crap. But he's obviously standing... which is so frustrating to me.
I like the point she made when she was talking to Damon and, you know, saying, even if I do die, like, at least Enzo's gonna be with me till the very end.
He's not gonna leave me.
Yeah, he's not gonna leave me the way you did.
You love that moment.
I know.
I just love this whole romance.
Yeah.
You know, it's a classic thing. They start off kind of not hating each other, but she's, like you were saying, wary of him and just not sure what to expect. And throughout all that time, they finally, the romance blossomed. I just love that.
Did you ever see anything between Damon and Bonnie? Because I know there's a lot of Damon fans out there.
There's a ton.
Yeah, it's crazy. People love them, and there's a little bit, you can kind of look at it like jealousy. Half the time when we see Bonnie and Enzo, oh my God, they're so cute. You know, we all love it, but Damon's in the background freaking out kind of, or like making weird faces.
There was one scene where I could just see his shadow while they were like playing on the guitar, and I thought, oh, who is that back there? Who's creeping? Then I realized it was Damon, and it all made sense. But
do you think it's a little jealousy?
I don't know if it's a romantic jealousy. I mean, that's part of what I really like about that whole storyline and that, you know, friendship, is that it is a friendship, and we don't see that very much between man and woman, especially not on TV, and I think it's really cool. I think there is an element of jealousy there, especially since she's still so mad at him, you know, and he just wants to be forgiven, and he just wants her to understand, and seeing them together, and plus his whole relationship with Enzo too. I think there is a little bit of jealousy.
I think you said it so too. Perfectly. That's exactly what it is. Damon doesn't like being in the doghouse. We saw it with his relationship with Stefan. He needs Stefan to be like, no, it's okay, we're okay. He needs everybody to say that. And he's watching Bonnie be really nice to somebody, and he's like, oh, I remember when Bonnie was nice to me. I remember when Bonnie cared whether I lived or died. I want that again.
He did it to himself.
Yeah, he definitely did, but that's where the jealousy is coming from. I don't think it's like, oh, I see them kissing and I wish I was kissing her. I don't see that.
Well, in a couple episodes ago, or maybe it was last episode, she said to Virginia when she was in the mental hospital that, I don't know what he was. She said, oh, is Damon a boyfriend? She said, I don't know what he was. So I feel like she doesn't really know what the whole thing is.
It gets complicated between guys and girls. After I just got through saying how great it is to see a platonic friendship on TV, I mean, there's always going to be some complications. So I think maybe that line was sort of indicating that at the time, maybe she was wrestling with some feelings. And that might have even been why it was so hard for her to deal with him going away for those 3 years, because she was maybe even starting to figure that out, or
maybe.
who knows?
But I thought it was more so, I don't even want to call him a friend because now I don't even know if he was that.
Right.
So for me, it was like, I don't know what he was, as in, was he my enemy? Was he my best friend?
Because how could a friend do that to me?
Exactly. That's how I took that line.
This show does that amazing with so many different storylines. You could take it so many different ways depending on how, you know, you're looking at the situation or who you like together.
I completely agree.
So we have Damon wanting to help Bonnie figure out how she's going to get better with this whole taking the blood of Raina pills. And Damon, does he decide he knows to go to Raina for help?
Yeah, he figures out that he has to. And I love that Bonnie is letting him help, because she's not stubborn or stupid enough to not accept the help. But she's saying, okay, you can help, but deal with somebody else. Like, figure out how I live. Okay, do that, but we're not friends.
Yeah.
So I think that's brilliant.
Go through Enzo.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't directly talk to me. That's what she says. So Raina's down in a cellar or the basement, having visions from mystical energy tied to those in the Phoenix Stone. So that's what's going on. She can't think straight at all with all of this going on, right?
I mean, that's what all the papers are, and that's so the idea during this episode is, or for Raina anyway, it's like, maybe if I write all this down and get it out on paper, it'll get out of my head, because she was experiencing all the headaches and hearing all the voices. So the way the Phoenix Stone worked was when she did have a target, she could hear them and see them and follow them, right? Now that the Phoenix Stone exploded and they're all out in the world, she can hear and see all of them at once. And that's what was driving her so crazy, and is driving her so crazy.
That's what we were talking about, because before we were wondering how she could see into stuff, see into Stefan's mind
and was with them that whole time.
But now she can't, see anything, and she's just
because she's seeing everything. Yeah.
Speaking about you know, you said, or Raina said something to Stefan that, you know, I had a connection with you. Was that just that, or was there more of a connection with the whole Stefan storyline that we don't know?
Well, it's just like you said earlier, the show does so well kind of like dropping little tidbits for you to piece together yourself. But definitely the big connection that we were referring to was just that I had the connection to you, following you all that time you were with Valerie, traveling, all that time you were thinking you were missing Damon, but actually not really missing him, and kind of like loving being free from him. So, and you know, Raina is kind of a lonely gal. You know, her life destiny has made her very lonely, and to follow them around and watch them fall in love, that was the connection more so than anything else. It was just like watching Stefan be Stefan, who he's, you know, she hates him because he's a vampire, but after those 3 years of being in his head, she sees that he's not such a bad guy.
Right.
So she has a soft spot for him.
A little bit,
Your
yeah.
character has me all sorts of confused right now, because like I was saying about Alex before, I always want people to be on our team. Obviously, you fight for that. And I was just thinking, okay, you know what? She's a villain. We can just hate her for being against us. But then all of a sudden, here you go, like having a heart and being a person with feelings and talking about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being torn in so many directions now. It's easier just to think of somebody as a villain, but then when you see that she kind of does care about these people, and she definitely cares about like the humans and making sure they're safe. So I just don't know anymore if you are even a villain, or if that's just kind of how they introduced you.
I kind of love hearing that.
Well, that means you're doing your job very well.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I always went into it, you know, you have to kind of always do this with characters, but you know they're a villain on paper, but you have to find a way to not make them a villain in your heart. And the writers really made it easy for me with the flashbacks that came in early on, and you kind of see why, with my father's legacy being carried on and everything, why I do the things that I do as Raina, and that's always driving her.
And that it's hard for you. Yeah. You don't just do them and it's like, all right, forget about it. I don't remember this person. You keep track of these things and you remember all of these things you've done. Which is why when we see eating at her and writing everything down, I'm like, oh my God, I never even thought about outside of our group, the people we care about, all of the other groups and all the other times that she had to deal with this turmoil in her. It's tough.
And another thing too, we got a little bit of a tidbit about your character falling in love before.
Right.
And I want to know more about that.
Well, yeah, so there was a love interest for Raina, or you know, she had, so it's all kind of connected, but he was a vampire, but wasn't originally. So actually the character who took over Stefan's body, this is all from the writers, that they told me so that I would know what was going on.
Right.
Cool. But the evil vampire, that was, the idea was that, is that he's the one that had turned my boyfriend into a vampire, causing me to kill him.
Okay.
So that's sort of been, you know, in my heart and in my mind this whole time. And like I said, she's a lonely character. That's been her only love.
What about the thing that you wanted to do with Stefan and Damon and switch, you know, transfer the little mark? Could you have done that with your boyfriend?
That's a very good question. Let's call the writers and ask them.
Did you ask the writers for more information? Did you go into them and say, I need background information? Or did they just openly say, here's the stuff that we're willing to give you as of this point?
I would say it's a combination of both, but mostly me asking. The more information you can get, obviously, the better. And, you know, it does hint at that. So I was always so curious about it. And then when that episode came up, they were like, yeah, that was sort of the idea behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's why I really like your character now that you're telling us more, is because, you know, I don't really see her as a villain anymore, just because you've been hurt.
Right.
You know, her character has been hurt in the
before.
past. You know, like you said, the boyfriend, and then he was turned into a vampire, and then your the father, losing your father. So all of
that
that,
was a
Julian.
beginning.
Yeah, so obviously, of course, the vampires have to come and, you know, bring this pain.
Okay, let's not take it too far. We still don't trust you.
No, I know, but I'm just
trust you.
I'm not saying that I trust her, but this is what I'm saying, like, these past couple of episodes we've seen you become more of, like, her character has broken down more, and we see more of like a human side.
Vulnerable,
you know? Yeah,
absolutely.
vulnerable. So I definitely like that whole aspect that we're starting to see.
Well, I
more.
like playing it for sure. When she lost the Phoenix Sword, it was like
Chaos. How many are there inside that Phoenix Stone?
thousands.
Thousands.
So when it exploded, they just scattered.
So the whole thing Damon wanted to do was team up and kill all of these, or kill a bunch of them for Raina, so Raina could give her life to Bonnie. Now, how did they come up with that whole idea, though, but that would work and cure Bonnie?
I just feel like Damon's been around the block. Like, he's had to do this so many times now. Save Bonnie's life, save somebody else's life, had to barter with things, whatever it is. So I feel like he pulled this one right out of his back pocket. Like, oh, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Duh, of course.
Yeah,
This is
he's
the
good
idea.
at like piecing things together and going, okay, I have a plan.
Yeah, and he's extra motivated now because he's trying to win back Bonnie's friendship. So I think that he was just being smart.
Yeah, and I love that Raina, you put up a fight at first. You're like, well, why would I do that? That's so true to your character, And then
It's also true because I was curious, why would she want to do that?
Right.
That doesn't make sense. I'm glad they took time to explain that because it would have been weird otherwise.
So how many do they have to kill, though, for your mind to be cleared?
All of them is the idea. I think the negotiation that we saw in this episode was, okay, prove to me that you can do some of this and then I'll think about it. So that was what sent them off on the mission. But then, as we saw at the very end, there's a lot more than we think.
Right. And what would make... the whole time I'm thinking, I don't think Raina's going to go through with this. I think she's just going to... all right, you cleared my mind. Now I'm going to continue what I'm doing because this is what I'm here for, and this is the rest of my life, and I'm going to do this until the,
But if
it's over.
they killed everyone, what would Raina do?
Go after the next one, right?
But there wouldn't be any more, right?
Guys, people in the chat want us to know that this was Bonnie's idea, that Bonnie's always saving herself and Bon to the rescue. So
That's right. I think there was a point when Damon or Enzo may have said, Bonnie's read up about this.
yeah, I felt like it was a collaborative process.
Probably. Someone is about to die, so they're probably working together.
Yeah.
That is true, though, that Bonnie, I don't mean in any way to paint her as a damsel in distress, because she is a strong woman who is constantly saving herself and has had to do that from forever because Damon has been not the best friend before.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm sure she did come up with a good chunk of it.
Okay, and so the all the effects are, hiding her magic and everything, that wears off in 48 hours? Is that what each pill does?
It was an estimate, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they knew about all of this stuff with Joe and how all of that stuff went down.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so painful to watch with Joe. I just don't. We can't go down that path again. It breaks my heart. I know.
Oh wait, I'm getting confused. That
Mary
was
Louise.
Mary Louise.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I thought you meant with the Joe stuff before, where she came back to Alaric and then she was gone again. Oh, everything heartbreaking. Messing with our hearts.
I know. That's what this show does, but it's great at the same time. Okay, so Alex, she's the leader of the armory. How long has Raina been captured by that? Do you know more about the armory? Does Raina know more?
Well, if we rewind back to when we first meet Raina, we meet her as an old woman in the armory, right? Bonnie goes in to find her, and she's an older woman. So she'd been there from the time when she was my age to the time she was that old woman being held captive and being researched on by the armory.
Is that the first time that she was held captive by them? How old is this armory? Do we know
That's a very
that?
good
That's a
question.
good
I don't know.
question.
It kind of seems like something that's been around forever and ever.
She's trying to torture all the answers out of you. What do you know? Tell us your secret.
Well, Alex, she shows up at the warehouse. I love that we get this whole montage thing of them going on a killing spree and killing all of these vampires. Yeah. They're traveling all over the place, and Alex shows up to Enzo to talk a little bit about what actually happened with Virginia and the vault. And so what's going on there is that Virginia found Lucy Bennett, Lucy Bennett put Yvette, which is a sister to Alex and Virginia, so there's 3 sisters that we know of so far, and Lucy sealed Yvette inside the vault, and then she killed Lucy, right? Did she kill Lucy Bennett?
Yeah.
kills the Bennett witch.
So, do you guys think, Bennett witches, they're always doing good for the world.
Right.
Do you think Yvette is bad?
I have no idea. But I am confused. Was she originally trying to help the sisters? Is that, what was she doing there?
We've got one sister that is so adamant on not letting her out, and then we've got another who really wants her to be free. So that means whatever she's done, it's something polarizing. But I don't know. I would have to think that she's some sort of villain to us, because Alex is not on our team right now.
Right.
And by us, obviously, you guys know who I've been referring to this whole time. Team.
And also, we see Virginia be a little crazy in the last episode, so maybe she's the crazy one. Maybe they're trying to confuse. Yeah, a lot crazy. I mean, or maybe she just lost it the last 3 years inside the mental hospital. Some people might lose it inside of there.
What are they specifically? Are they human? Because when she was talking to Enzo, Alex was talking to Enzo, saying that I want to get my sister back out, and Enzo was saying, well, she's probably dead by now.
Well, she's alive, and she said something in there is keeping her alive.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So there's maybe something in the vault.
There's more in there.
Yeah.
There has to be more than just Yvette.
I just picture her like tied up to some tubes that they're just dripping things in to keep her alive. Whatever she comes out looking like, it's got to be worse than when we saw the heretics.
Yeah,
It's got to be worse than that. So I don't think it's going to be her hottest day when she gets out of that vault.
And I wonder how long she's been in there too.
She could be a vampire.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he say, I think 3 years or something?
Oh, okay.
4 years ago, I think they killed Yvette, or Virginia killed Lucy 4 years ago. So it must be 4 years that she's been in that vault. And they didn't know about another Bennett witch until
Bonnie.
3 years ago, and that's when they were after her. They wanted Bonnie for that reason.
Can everybody just leave Bonnie alone for a little bit?
I know, she's been through a lot.
Yeah, she's just chilling in love now.
Yeah.
Let her chill in love.
But as much as we love Enzo and Bonnie together, do you think that there's any chance that Enzo will try to do Alex's route, which is, give me Bonnie and we'll get Yvette out, and then I will help you and do whatever I can to heal Bonnie?
Do you even trust her word? Saying that she's gonna try to heal Bonnie?
No.
I don't believe that at all.
Alex is not on our team. She's not on our team. And I would be shocked. I think that Enzo wouldn't do anything without Bonnie's permission. I would be shocked if Bonnie would be like, "Yeah, okay, just trade me on over. Like, let's see if that works." But desperate times call for desperate measures. So
If they don't find another way,
yeah,
maybe.
exactly.
Because she is starting to get the scabs, and that means she has about a week to live.
And also storytelling wise, why would they introduce that to us if the only way is to get this girl out of the to get her out of the vault is to get Bonnie to do it? I don't think they would have put that on the table if there was no way that Bonnie is eventually going to do it.
I just feel like Alex doesn't have a cure for it. Or maybe it was she didn't care about Mary Louise because that wasn't going to give her anything, but this time it's going to give her something. Yvette, her sister's going to be free, so then she will help Bonnie. Because remember when, she gave that proposition to Nora, help me, and then I'll cure, Mary Louise, and she's like, there's no cure. There's nothing.
Yeah, she just didn't care then.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like tricky wording too. It was like, I'll do what I can to help her.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And what she could was tell her that there wasn't much time left, so they should hang out.
Oh.
Katie, our lover of love.
No.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Alex cares about Enzo at all, or is it more of just using him?
Means to an end.
Yeah. Because she was, talking to him about, we're family. I don't even remember exactly what she was saying because I don't like her that much. But again, she was talking to Enzo saying, we're family and blah, 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 blah. But
it's a good question. I have a hard time. I have a hard time with it because I think that as rational people on this table, family is an important thing. So you think, okay, your cousin, somewhere in your soul you have to care, even if you pretend not to. But we're dealing with a whole different kind of person. We don't know that much about Alex's background. And for all we know, she could be making up all of this cousin stuff. She could have like forged things. She could be using whatever for her benefit.
That's what I've been saying. I wondered why Enzo was just so quick to be like, oh, we're cousins. Okay, cool. Yeah. Like, did he question that at all?
Yeah, so I definitely don't trust her. I don't think that she's going to put Enzo before any of her other schemes. Right. So I think maybe even if she does care about him a little, not enough.
Yeah. Agreed.
One thing I want to get to before we get on the other side of the fence with Stefan and Alaric is Bo.
Yeah.
That was so sad.
That was really sad.
How did you guys feel about Damon just killing him?
That was old school Damon right there. He just came back from 6 years ago and walked out and ripped Bo's heart out.
You know what really made me upset is he wants to have his friendship back with Bonnie. And Bonnie's telling him, all these things, like, you can't kill him because, he saved Caroline.
But he had to.
Yeah, I know, he had to. But I feel like the way he did it, too, was just so unnecessary.
No, but this girl right now has given him an ultimatum, and if he doesn't follow it, he can't save his best friend. So, as always, he's looking to the future.
But here's the thing, though. With Raina wanting that to happen, can't we just save one? Do you think that really would have,
she would
the whole
hear
deal
it.
was
Wouldn't
off?
you just have like one voice?
Yeah, but like
in your head.
Yeah, but we see your heart. We see your heart. We see you, care. We see you want to transfer these marks. So I'm just saying we could save Bo. We just got to do a little explaining. We're helping you out. There's thousands of them. We can get all the rest of them. But we know
one
Bo.
Lingering one.
You are the lover of love on this panel, aren't you? It's so sweet.
Keep in mind that Bo was not a good guy always. It's not like we're talking about this stand-up dude. He has his own. I mean, he got killed for a reason. So I was okay with what Damon did. She definitely would notice if there was one voice left in her head. Maybe we could try to fool her and be like, no, trust me, everybody has a voice. Like, it's okay. We all have that weird voice in our head. But I think she was smarter than that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that she would have caught on. So it had to be done.
All right. I just feel like we could have transferred it. I just like this whole transfer thing.
You can't. I don't think it's that easy. Every time we've seen it, it's been excruciatingly painful, and you have to do it at the right time. It's not just like bippity boppity boop,
But that's okay. We can go through it.
Oh, okay.
But on the other side of things, we have Stefan going after Caroline, and Leslie-Anne, I want to ask you your opinion about Steroline. How do you feel about all of that?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a Enzo Bonnie fan, so I'm more focused on that storyline.
Gotcha.
But that was rough at the door, you guys.
I know.
So awkward.
Cold. But can you blame her?
Nope.
No.
You can't.
No, I cannot.
Yeah.
And what was she gonna do? Just like, oh, Stefan, you're back. I mean, I kind of, as cold as it was expecting that to happen.
And she was really good to Alaric in that moment because, like he's said out loud, I have to assume he's telling the truth. She's not in love with him, and he knows that she's not in love with him. Maybe she loves him, but isn't in love. And so, as somebody who has stood by you for 3 years, is fathering what you're raising as your children, is living with you, is in love with you, the respectful thing to do in that moment is to stand by them. So I thought that was really cool of Caroline, actually. And I thought, you know what, even to the Steroline fans out there, guess what? He deserved this.
Yeah,
I think people have to see that he deserved this.
Well, I want to hear what he has to say because he said tonight, Alaric brings up a good point. When Raina gets captured, why didn't he go back? What was the reason he didn't go back? And he's not able to explain himself yet. So what could be keeping him? I mean, it can't be just that, him and Valerie started a relationship.
I don't know, but I don't really, whatever it is he has to say, he should have said it 3 years ago.
Exactly.
It's too little too late.
Yeah.
It's fine to realize now, okay, I'm in love with you and I'm coming back to get you because you're about to marry another guy. That's all well and good. You're too late. You didn't do your job as her boyfriend, and so you don't get another chance. That's how I feel.
When Stefan was talking to Alaric and telling him, when I got really sad at this part when he was like, well, you guys have 2 bedrooms and yours, and it pretty much that's such a low blow. I was not expecting that from him, and obviously Alaric, says it to him. She doesn't love me, but that was not okay. I did not like that.
I definitely see all these points. I think they're valid. I think I'm looking at this a little bit biased because I love Stefan. He's a great character.
You're not alone.
Yes.
Many people do too.
Yes, yes. Oh, he's the best. I feel bad, though, about the whole brother situation. A lot of this season has been Damon and Stefan, you know, kind of, I don't know, it's been forced into Stefan, and it is kind of true. Damon gets him in trouble a lot, and, you know, I don't know, Stefan has to clean up his messes, and it's just like, it is pushing them apart. And then obviously Damon leaving for 3 years, that was extremely selfish, and that pushed them even farther apart.
Okay, Katie, though, Damon leaving Stefan for 3 years, how is that different than Stefan leaving Caroline for 3 years? Yeah. Stefan is such a hypocrite sometimes. Like, I love him too. I love Stefan. I keep saying this is our team. I love him, but when you look at your brother and you're like, you're so selfish, guess what, Stefan?
So are you.
So are you.
Well, we have to hear him out, you guys. We have to hear him out. We know why Damon went to sleep.
Do we want to?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Maybe
let me have it. Go ahead.
Maybe there's some reason he didn't get to say it. Maybe we'll get it next week. Right? There's some
do
reason.
hear him out. I want to know what Caroline
will respond to that.
Well, how will she respond to it at this point?
Do you guys think there's anything he could say that will make her be like, okay, mwah, mwah, mwah?
Not so quickly, maybe.
No.
Well, long term, Katie. Do you think there'd be anything that he could say, or no?
I don't know. Not from the way she treated him at the door.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough.
Yeah.
So he's climbing an uphill battle at this point.
Yeah.
But Caroline's a forgiving person, so.
Yeah, I think it's like her to forgive. Well,
She's a mother now, though.
Yeah,
don't
she's
know.
got to protect her kids, too. She can't have somebody around who's just going to maybe walk out in a few years just because he feels like traveling.
Right.
It's not really what happened, but.
You know.
Which, by the way, they are siphoned still, right? They were when she was pregnant. They were siphoning her magic, so they're going to be introduced to this world at some point.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what's going on with that.
And Alaric's been so set on, you know, he said it all these episodes, the last couple episodes, you know, we've been out of it for 3 years. Nothing. We're having a normal life.
I find that so hard to believe. Like, really? Nothing for 3 years?
Well, except for the HOA.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And the interior designers and stuff.
Which is so
That was
like
so funny.
Caroline, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Damon's calling Stefan, and we see a lot of the, you know, Stefan not really wanting to answer. But at the very end, he does answer, and Damon says that Raina's agreed to the deal, but there's a lot of new names. But I didn't see that you agreed. Did you agree, or were you just...
I think that was off camera, but then we see all of the stuff in there.
Too many names.
How overwhelming was that room? I was like, I can't even watch this room on TV, let alone imagine being in that
Being
room.
in there.
Like, stressful. It made my OCD come out a
Was she
little
just
bit.
on the ground? I kind of missed that part. Was she just like kind of on the ground in her thoughts at that point when he walked in and all those pictures were everywhere?
But thoughts is a nice word. In
And
like
her
complete tormented mind.
Right. Yeah.
She's like, of course so. And again, I felt bad for her. And then I catch myself, I'm like, why do you feel bad for her?
Well, because, you know, she wants to enjoy a cheeseburger and the sunlight on her face.
Everybody
Like
does.
everyone.
Yeah.
Like every human being.
She's just a typical average girl, you know?
Well, I hope that you get to enjoy that sometime.
So too.
Let's talk a little bit about previews for next week, and then we'll get into a little bit more about you. So the previews for next week, I was a little confused. So we get more on the vault, and Bonnie's not letting anybody out, and I'm thinking that there's going to be more people in the vault.
Or more
something.
something. I can't think of what it would be if it's not people, but you know,
Right, but something's keeping her alive.
we've been
right?
introduced
You
to
got that
dark
line.
magic stuff now. Right, from that line, I'm thinking, like, could it be, I don't know.
Vampire, just in general, or something more intense, you think?
If it was just a vampire, I think they would have told us. Like, it's just, she's in there with another vampire.
Yeah, somebody's keeping her alive.
Yeah.
We've seen hybrids, you know, vampire, werewolf. We've seen witch vampire. We haven't seen witch wolf. Right?
That's kind of like you.
Yes, that's me.
She's witch wolf.
I am. Actually, I'm all three. Maybe that's what we're gonna see.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. But again, I just picture her, like, attached to these
That's
machines.
what I think. That's what I have pictured in my head. Like, she's like has tubes like through her body, and I don't know.
Imagine if we open it and it's empty. And
she's not even there.
No, she's there. Oh, it's just like a sound box that somebody planted. just playing
Casio stereo with a voice.
Yeah. I have a feeling the writers aren't going to go that route. Just a prediction, though, you know.
My prediction over here is that Raina is not going to take the deal. I feel like she's just gonna.
She's gonna make them kill them all, and then she's not gonna help.
Yeah.
And she's just gonna live life for a little while the way you want
eat
to.
a cheeseburger.
Go eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
No, I think of her as somebody who is true to her word. I think that if she says she's going to take the deal, as long as they actually hold up on their end of the bargain, I think that she will too. Because we haven't seen her lie about something yet. Okay. She kind of says exactly what she's going to do and then goes and do it. Like, I'm going to kill you guys. And then she does. So it's not always our favorite thing.
Very straightforward.
Yeah. So I can't picture her being like, let's make a deal. Ha ha ha, you did my dirty work.
Yeah, but maybe I'm having a problem because I didn't see the scene that she said yes to the deal.
Yeah.
The off-camera scene.
Yeah.
There was a scene. Was there a scene that you guys filmed?
In our minds.
You saw what we filmed.
Okay.
Sneaky.
Do you guys have any more predictions about anything?
I saw a couple predictions on the internet about maybe Enzo like fooling Bonnie this whole time and really he's bad, and then I will be so mad.
I will be so upset.
So I'm predicting the opposite of that Enzo is the best thing that ever, best guy to ever come into Bonnie's life, and Bonnie's the best girl to ever come into Enzo, and they end up happily ever after Benzo for life.
I don't have a prediction, but I do want to know what's gonna happen with Damon and Bonnie. Is she gonna
their friendship?
Yeah, the friendship. Is it gonna work out? Is it?
She always.
Yeah, she
always
does.
lets in.
But I want to know how long it's gonna take for it to just happen. You know.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah.
It's funny. Did you guys get the feeling at all during this entire episode that the theme of the love triangle, although it's not the same, obviously, as Damon and Stefan and Elena, was just throughout this whole episode? We got Stefan and Alaric and Caroline, and then Damon and Enzo and Bonnie.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I like that. In the chat, Gia says, I predict Bonnie becoming the Huntress, which would be... That would be a weird turn for her character to take, but...
Well, if she took her life...
Does that transfer over?
Transfer over?
I don't think so, because now we don't have the stone.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh, Bonnie with more voices in her head. No, poor Bonnie. Everybody's always trying to mess her up.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about, I'm sure you've seen all of the things that you look a little bit like Nina Dobrev, and is
The
that...
best compliment ever?
Yeah, people in the chat have even been saying it tonight, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll take it, girl. She's beautiful and talented.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously.
Was that something that was planned with the writers, or was it coincidental?
As far as I know, nobody said anything to me about it being planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did people say that before you were cast on the show? Because it's really remarkable.
Like in life?
Yeah, just in life.
Yeah. Well, my best friend loves the show, and my cousin as well, and so they've always said like, "Oh, you look just like her," and I'm like, "Well, thank you for making my day." Yeah. So I've gotten it before.
Well, I really like that it happened to be that way, because when we first saw you, I had to like rewatch. I was like, wait, that looks exactly like her.
Yeah.
So
and one of our co-hosts too swears that there's something going on with your bloodline being connected to the Petrova bloodline. Could that be a possibility at all?
Lips are sealed, girl.
Yeah. Okay.
She knows more than she's letting on.
I want to know.
Just like Raina.
Yes. Very straightforward.
Andres says in the chat, she reminds me a lot of Catherine, which is true. Catherine,
The Raina character.
Yeah,
well, so badass Catherine was, and now they brought in Raina as the badass, so yeah.
And Catherine had her good moments before she started losing her hair and her teeth.
Catherine's an
And got
amazing character.
scooped off into who knows where.
Yeah. Yeah, and the curly hair too.
Yep.
So
A little shorter.
Yeah. But who? Okay, so you worked with a lot of the cast so far. Do you have anybody that was your favorite to work with?
Oh, I couldn't pick one.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'd be unfair to the other.
That's true.
I will share two things. One, the very first day I was there, Kat was just so sweet to me and invited me out to like a girls' dinner. It was just so, they were all so welcoming, but that really stood out. And then Ian, as you can probably guess, is so funny. Really? He's just so funny to be around. Wow. So he makes it really fun.
I've gone back and been watching episodes of Lost, and I forgot that side of him
Right.
too. He can play all different kinds of
Yeah,
roles.
oh yeah.
He's in
Not
Lost. I
surprised.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, Boone.
I've never seen Lost, actually.
Well,
But
it's great.
That might be a binge.
Wait,
I know.
This girls' dinner though, like all the girls in the cast got together and go to dinner, or it was just.
It was like her and some friends, and
That's
yeah,
so sweet.
it was just so nice. Yeah, because we shoot out in Atlanta, so it was nice to be welcomed and have people to talk to.
Is it hard for you to be there for weeks, months, however long at a time, or?
I would say it's a nice, healthy combination of really hard and really fun.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
Has there been any, or what has been one of like your favorite scenes that you've filmed so far?
Oh gosh, well, early on with all the stunts.
Oh.
That was so fun, and learning how to use a sword correctly and all that stuff. I just loved all of that.
Does it
Then I
make you
lost
nervous?
I lost the sword, and I was like, oh, no more sword.
Oh my gosh.
You do a lot of the stunts?
Well, the whole show has a whole stunt team who's amazing. But yeah, I trained and learned all of it and did a lot of it myself, which is really fun.
That's awesome.
I feel like I would get nervous if I had to
I know, me too.
swing around, you know.
Well, they keep you very safe, which is why they do the whole training, and there's like 10 really buff guys around kind of like watching you and making sure everything's okay. So I felt pretty safe.
Cool. I love it.
So, what do you have going on right now? You have all this Vampire Diaries stuff going on. What else do you have that you're working on?
Well, so obviously the season is done shooting, so we shoot ahead of time. So I'm back here in LA, and actually you may not be able to tell from watching me play Raina, but I also do a lot of comedy. So I'm in the Sunday company at the Groundlings Theater here in LA.
Really cool.
So that's where like Kristen Wiig and Will Ferrell came out of, and so I'm part of the company that does a weekly show every Sunday. We write new material just like SNL does every week, and we put up a new show every week. So I'm starting in May. Thanks. Yeah, I'm starting in May. It's a 6-month run, and I cannot wait.
Oh my god, I can't wait to go.
Yeah, you guys gotta come see it. It's just really fun. We have an amazing cast, and it's just wild, crazy, stupid, fun stuff, and I love doing it.
Have you always been into comedy too, or this is a?
Yeah, I always have kind of ridden the line between both, and love both.
Oh my god, I'm trying to picture it now.
I know, me too.
I have to come watch.
Yeah.
I saw that you've been in a couple Disney Channel things, and you played another character named Raina, right?
Yes, actually, this is my third Raina.
Wow. That's a thing.
Yes, I played a Raina on a Disney show, and then I also played it as a guest star on another show.
It's
on
not
another
that
network
popular
show.
of a name.
Yeah.
I feel like
On TV, I feel like it is. Yeah, it means queen.
Yeah.
So
That's a perfect name. I love it. I also read that you co-founded and you're executive director for a nonprofit.
Yes, I was. It has since stopped operating, but we raised funds to help children in the Philippines get medical attention that they needed. So I'm half Filipino, and while I was in college, I did a study abroad program, and I learned about a lot of the things going on there. And there were children there who didn't have access to medical care. So we were doing that. We ran it about 6 years.
That's really nice.
And then one of our guys from there has carried on the work under a different organization.
talented and a good person.
Yeah. I
Thank you.
loved that when I read that, so I just wanted to ask you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh, this was so fun, you guys.
Yeah, we loved having you. You have to come back.
Yeah, you definitely
I
have
would
to come
love
back.
to. Yeah. I just love hearing your perspective on everything.
Yeah.
And your passion.
We're definitely super fans for sure.
Where can the fans find you to talk to you?
Yeah, again, on Twitter, Leslie-Anne Huff, all one word. And then Instagram, I love to post Instagram pictures at Leslie-Anne Huff. And also, I'm starting to do Snapchat now, too. I don't know if you guys love
Yes.
Snapchat as much as I do.
Yes.
But on that, I'm at I am LA Huff.
AFTERBUZZ just got a Snapchat this past
I
week
gotta
or
follow.
something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know,
we've been
it's
loving it. Yeah, yeah, it's great.
And you guys can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jordana_Morfin.
I'm everywhere at Roxy Striar.
And you can find me on Twitter at Katie E. Campbell. That's Katie with 3 E's Campbell. Instagram at KatieCampbell13 and YouTube.com/KatieCampbellOnline. I have a vlog. And thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you so much again to our very
you
special
so
guest.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.